Hello guys, welcome back to TFD. All right, we've got something that honestly feels a little off. One of those situations that makes people stop, tilt their head, and go, wait, what's going on here? Because yeah, this definitely raised some eyebrows. So the NBA All-Star break came and went, everything looked normal on the surface, and there was no sign of a WNBA Players Union strike. No major drama, no public standoff, nothing blowing up headlines. Cool, right? Smooth sailing. At least that's what it looked like. But then this morning, boom, news drops that Breanna Stewart is heading overseas to play. And that's where people start connecting dots, because we're not just talking about any player here. She's deeply involved with the Players Union, part of leadership, someone right in the middle of negotiations and big picture decisions. And now she's taking another job? Even if it's short term, the timing feels strange. Fans are looking at this and asking the obvious question, does this signal uncertainty about the CBA? Because the overseas schedule lines up almost perfectly with the start of training camp. That overlap has people nervous. It's one of those read the room moments. Not saying the move itself is wrong, players play, that's what they do, but optics matter. And right now, the optics, they're messy. The timing feels awkward, and whether fair or not, it sends a message that everything might not be as settled as people hoped. That's why folks are talking, and honestly, you can see why. Look, Breanna Stewart, you're the co-founder of Unrivaled, and let's be real, that league competes for attention, money, and influence with the WNBA. You can frame it however you want, but when players say they can run year-round in their own space, like Natasha Cloud openly talked about, that's competition, straight up. Now, stack that on top of the fact that you're also involved with the WNBPA, helping negotiate a brand new CBA. That's where people start using the words conflict of interest, because you're operating in multiple lanes that don't exactly move in the same direction. Then, news drops reported by Sports Illustrated that you're signing overseas right in the middle of all this. Hold on, aren't you supposed to be focused on getting a deal done here first? Even Adam Silver has talked about urgency and time running short. So when this happens now, the timing feels off. Nobody's saying don't earn your money, players should maximize their careers. But optics matter. And right now, the optics look messy. Not all money moves hit the same. And this one, the timing just doesn't sit right.
Here said, Breanna Stewart's overseas signing raises eyebrows amid ongoing WNBA CBA negotiations. New York Liberty star Breanna Stewart has an impeccable resume, from her time at UConn to the WNBA to international play to co-founding Unrivaled. But despite all she has accomplished, Stewart isn't done chasing accolades. This was further proven via an announcement from Turkish basketball club Fenerbahçe Opet revealing that Stewart would be joining the squad ahead of the EuroLeague Final Six. Okay, all right, let's be fair for a second. Breanna Stewart, your basketball resume is elite. Championships, MVPs, global respect, nobody is debating your greatness. That part is locked in. But this conversation isn't about talent, it's about timing and optics. Right now, the WNBA has been stuck in a very public, very tense CBA negotiation for over a year. Fans have been watching every statement, every move, every bit of messaging. At the beginning, public support was overwhelming. People were behind the players, heavy. The whole energy was pay them what they deserve. But somewhere along the way, the tone shifted. A lot of fans feel like the messaging got messy, the strategy got confusing, and some of the public-facing moments just didn't land right. Social media stunts, symbolic gestures, and back-and-forth narratives, instead of building support, they started wearing it down. Then people raised concerns about conflicts of interest, not just media voices either. Actual players like Sophie Cunningham acknowledged those concerns. And now, with another overseas move happening in the middle of all this tension, it just adds more fuel to the fire. Fair or not, perception matters. From the outside looking in, fans feel like they're being pulled away from what they actually want most: stability, clarity, and seeing stars like Caitlin Clark on the court without all the drama surrounding the league's future. Maybe this overseas stretch is tied to a major competitive run in EuroLeague women. Honestly, not everyone follows international basketball closely enough to fully understand the stakes there, and that's part of the issue too, the disconnect. End of the day, it's not just about what the move is, it's about when it happens and how it looks. And right now, the timing just feels off. Per the release, Stewart, who played for Fenerbahce in 2023 and helped lead the team to its first EuroLeague championship, will join in April for the stretch run. She will be added to a roster that features Liberty teammate Emma Mieselman and Seattle Storm star Gabby Williams. Of course, there is obviously tons of precedent for WNBA players competing overseas, but the timing of the Stewart commitment has led to some speculation among fans about whether it should be taken as any signal regarding the state of WNBA CBA negotiations. And you have to understand, when people see you make a move like this, questions are going to explode everywhere. That's just reality. Folks are going to ask, why now? What does this mean? Is this tied to the conflict of interest concerns people already had? Is this somehow going to impact the 2026 season? Some people are even going to wonder if this affects stars like Caitlin Clark and what fans were expecting to see this year. And then the bigger questions start rolling in. Does this signal confidence that a deal will be done soon in the WNBA? Or does it suggest uncertainty, maybe even concern that the season could be delayed or disrupted? That's why moves like this don't happen in a vacuum. When Breanna Stewart heads overseas, people naturally start reading between the lines and wondering what she knows that everyone else doesn't. Here said, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver recently stated that the collective bargaining talks have reached the 11th hour when it comes to being able to reach a deal in time for the WNBA season to start as scheduled, which is why the Stewart news being announced just a couple days later has raised some eyebrows. All right, so a lot of people are being left in the dark, and people are already questioning, is there going to be a 2026 WNBA season? I don't think this news coming out about Breanna Stewart has helped dilute any of that. I don't think it's negated any of that. I think this has just furthered the questions and the speculations about if there will be a 2026 WNBA season. Said, EuroLeague competition will conclude prior to the start of WNBA season. All right. According to FIBA, the EuroLeague Women Final Six will be hosted in Spain from April 15th through April 19th, 2026. WNBA training camp is scheduled to begin April 19th, with the season set to start on May 8th. So, assuming Stewart plays the maximum number of contests overseas, at worst, her arrival to training camp would be slightly delayed if the WNBA season starts on time. So, interesting. Now, one person tweeted, hey, A, a belief that the season won't start on time. B, a middle finger to the prioritization clause and its penalties. I see both. But here's the thing. If Breanna Stewart has done this before, I don't know how much we can really read into it. Seriously. If she played overseas in a similar situation back in 2023, and there was no lockout, no work stoppage, nothing like that, then maybe this is just business as usual. Players go where the opportunities are, especially when the timing lines up and the money makes sense. That part isn't shocking. Now, if the overseas schedule ran deep into training camp for the WNBA, then yeah, that would raise real eyebrows. But it doesn't. The overlap is basically minimal. One day, maybe? That's more like scheduling friction than a full-blown problem. Still, the timing feels interesting when you remember Adam Silver recently said negotiations are in the 11th hour and called for urgency from everybody, owners and players alike. So naturally, people wonder, does Stewart believe a deal is basically done? Does she think her presence isn't critical right now? That's what confuses some folks, especially when players have said they're still trying to understand what's happening behind the scenes. And from a pure perception standpoint, it doesn't land smoothly. Casual fans, especially newer ones who showed up because of stars like Caitlin Clark or discovered players like Sophie Cunningham, they're not tracking overseas leagues like EuroLeague Women. They just see a headline and wonder if something's wrong. So maybe it's normal, maybe it's nothing, but perception shapes reaction, and that reaction matters. Is this a 5-alarm fire or no big deal? Tell me what you think. Like, comment, and subscribe.